And guys, what I did mention is that there were bronze-skinned uh, Egyptian Jews. There were Assyrian stock Egyptian Jews, bronze, not LeBron, not blonde, bronze-skinned, copper-skinned Egyptian Jews back in ancient Egypt. So I need you guys to know that. And the judgments I have provided, or provided by the UN Security Council and endorsed by me, those are not moral judgments. Those are moral judgments perfected or made astute by ethical principles and ethical studies and ethical processes, and via political mechanisms and political principles applied within government framework as endorsed and sanctioned by the United States government and the United Nations General Assembly. Its totality, based on the protocols of the United Nations General Assembly, okay, and Security Council protocols. Additionally, those are a bit separate issues. Those are separate issues, but I just wanted to add that in there. So the judgments provided by the UN Security Council, which will lead to the staged and orchestrated United Nations security backed and endorsed global war, which will result in the nuclear demolition of Lower Manhattan, its totality, and the nuclear demolition of central Moscow, its totality, and the nuclear warhead destruction of central Beijing and central Pyongyang and central Istanbul, will be standing as uncondemnable, irrefutable, and unbreachable. No one is going to die. There will be no casualties. The evacuation orders have been respected by the Central Intelligence Agency and Interpol, and were initiated by the Central Intelligence Agency and Interpol per my request. So yes, there will be dropped 2 atomic bombs on Lower Manhattan within 3 to 4 weeks. The whole, this particular part of the city, of the borough of Manhattan within the city of New York City, will be completely evacuated 3 days in advance or preceding that particular event. There is no real resident in Lower Manhattan. There are employees and workers, blue collar workers and white collar workers and so forth. They have all been briefed. All right, there's no renunciation of this. This is a judgment from above, from heaven, and the most ancient of universes. They have made their decision in endorsing my judgment and my endorsement of the United Nations Security Council judgments on the respective matter. Okay, so the folks. Okay, so that's what I want you guys to understand. Okay, I'm not here to condemn the United States of America, the United States, or China, or Moscow, or Russia, or North Korea, or Turkey. We are not going to condemn any country. We're just going to fix the world. We're going to make sure that this is the last nuclear warfare. We're going to make sure that we abolish nuclear warfare moving forward after this particular staged global war. And that decision has already been made. The United States government has nothing to do with it. The material United Nations Security Council and General Assembly has nothing to do with it. Representatives from above who have audited and taken control over the United Nations and the United States government under emergency order have made those decisions to stage that particular reality. Okay? And it's going to be programmed from above. It's going to be programmed from above. Okay? Okay, I want you guys to know that. It's going to be staged from above. My father and his brothers and his father and so forth. They have all made that decision as the governorship over this existence zones of multiverses, and they're going to do as they need to do. this universe, the lower three dimensions, are within a computer program, or literally within a computer, and we are macroscopic. Myself and my father, we are macroscopic when in nirvana. We have another dimensional value, so we control all parts of the universe. We essentially go into denotate every atom in lower Manhattan. That's what my father in heaven is going to do with his brothers and his father and his father's father and so forth. Okay? I pronounced it a bit wrongly. They're going to detonate. They're going to implode and explode every atom in lower Manhattan within 3 to 4 weeks. 2 to 4 weeks. I'm pretty sure of it. We're going to give, once again, we're going to give the city of New York time to be able to elaborate on communicating with the rest of the country and on housing all of the folks of New York who are going to have to evacuate after that event due to radioactive effect or radiation effect. And there's nothing I can do. What I proposed earlier to remove the moral debt of New York City, just having them demolished without casualty, the One World Trade Center, did not work. You know, so the abuse against migrants became even worse, and the execution and assassinations of Ukrainian refugees, innocent Ukrainian refugees, even became worse. And the condemnation of African Americans and the miseducation of African Americans, the plan toward continuing it was accelerated by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, secretly, part of the Knights of Columbus Ku Klux Klan fraternal order, in their minds, just in their minds. Okay, an imaginary fraternity that never existed. But anyway, it's just in their minds. All right, so we're going to do away with this, with the Ku Klux Klan fraternal order theory, but we are not going to do away with what's going to happen over the next 3 to 4 weeks and over the next 2 years, the global war. And we're going to do away with military buildup. We're going to do away with closed borders. We're going to do away with what needs to be done away with, other than what I've protected, including all constitutions of the member states of the governments, the member states of the United Nations General Assembly. Okay, so yeah, I'm not under threat at this particular moment. My security apparatus is solid, and it's going to appreciate over time. It actually is going to accelerate over the next few weeks naturally. But there's no point in saying that I'm learning how to be a convict, learning how to be a terrorist motivated individual. I'm not a terrorist. I'm not a convict. People just need to let go of the belief that their clan is always right, and they are right in being isolationist and disrespectful to every other clan who gets in the way of them feeling comfortable within their clan, no matter how abusive it is. People need to get away from that. The Russians need to let that go. The Chinese need to let that go. The North Koreans need to let that go. And certainly the Turkish government needs to let that go. And the rest of the world is going to have to let that go. Okay? So the United Nations General Assembly and Security Council is going to be within every country in the world over the next 2 years to make sure that everything is modernized toward welcoming the IMF in Africa and toward welcoming modernity and social democracy as a framework and a plan for the whole globe, every member state of the United Nations, the future world government. So the whole world is going to be reformed. We just have to cover up within the narrative to tell to our posterity in the future how we got to the point of no nuclear warfare and no nuclear weaponry, only nuclear energy. And we have to explain everything. That's just part of the narrative, and only heaven can actually conduct this properly. Okay, so the highest reaches of heaven, actually. All right, guys.